Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Langer at the Mic, another Habs post-game show. Just adjusting my camera a little bit here because I want to jump right on to this post-game show here. Trying to straighten it out a little bit. Yeah, that'll do. Yeah, there we go. All right. So the Montreal Canadiens, they lose 3-2 to the Toronto Maple Leafs. And it was an exciting finish. It was a very exciting finish because Corey Perry, who is the best forward on the Montreal Canadiens right now, and or at least the most offensively gifted or offensively talented forward on the Montreal Canadiens right now. He scores his second goal of the game, his ninth goal of the season to bring the Habs within one. And by the way, also the Habs this year, I feel like the Habs this year, they have more goals at 6-on-5 with the net empty late in the game than they have in the last 5 years combined. So that's good, and that's largely due to Corey Perry. But the bottom line of this game, this 3-2 loss to the Toronto Maple Leafs, is I gotta open my water. Still fits in here, but the bottom line in this game against the Leafs, the reason why the Habs lost is because when the Leafs had their best periods, they scored goals. When the Habs had their best period, they could not score goals because they're lacking that offensive finish, that offensive touch and ability to create, they still got a lot of shots. They outshot the Leafs 17-4 in the second period. But the issue is that, again, a lot of them were well controlled by Jack Campbell, who played really well in this game. Jack Campbell deserves credit for how well he played in this game. But how often has it happened to the Montreal Canadiens this year where they put up 30? Like they literally put up 30 shots every game, the Habs. They put up 30 shots a game. And I looked this up. They're middle of the pack in terms of shooting percentage. So to me, that's like they're just lacking that finish. They're not finished because we got plenty of awesome finish players in Jesperi Kotkaniemi and Arturi Lehkonen and Yoel Armia and Odo Leskinen. But it's the finish around the net, like what Corey Perry has. Corey Perry, Tyler Toffoli are the only two, or the two most offensively, the most pure offensive players on the Montreal Canadiens. And that's really about it. Tatar, you can say, sure, but he's more of a playmaker. He had a really nice goal against the Oilers the other week, on Monday against the Oilers. You could look at, Gallagher is obviously hurt. Kotkaniemi, playmaker at this point. Suzuki, still more of a playmaker. But in terms of finish and pure offense, Corey Perry and who was I going to say again? I'm still rushing here. But yeah, just Corey Perry and Tyler Toffoli are really the two guys on the Montreal Canadiens that are the most gifted players offensively. So let's break this down. Right now, the first period, look, the Habs, they came out, they were bad in that first period. Like, they were just off. Like, it looked like they're playing with, it looked like they had holes in their sticks, essentially. It looked like every time they made a pass, it was off. And Jake Allen, that goal that Matthew scored, that first one that Matthew scored seconds into the hockey game, it was one that Jake Allen, you kind of want him to stop. But, Shea Weber, again, lost the battle behind the net. But to me, that goal was because of the issues that the Habs have been having in their defensive zone all year, just trying to break out, trying to make that one pass to break out, and it fails, and it leads to a chance the other way. But then the good news is Corey Perry at least tied it up seconds later. What was it exactly? Just under 2 minutes later, Corey Perry tied it up with, again, like what I'm saying, just savvy, offensive savvy, pure offense. Like his ability to take a beautiful pass from Nick Suzuki, make Jack Campbell hesitate, and then bury it 5-hole. Like that's something that not many players on this Habs team has. You look at Jonathan Drouin again. We'll get to Jonathan Drouin in a little bit, but he struggled today. He really struggled today. Like this is like Jonathan Drouin. I've been saying how well he's been playing all year. This was a milk carton game from Jonathan Drouin. He had that breakaway at the end of the second. Like that's what I'm talking about. The Habs, they play their butts off in the second period, outshoot the Leafs 17-4. And when you have a breakaway like that, you got to put it in the net. You got to bury it. But Jonathan Drouin, I know he has the wrist issue. It's still kind of bothering him, and he's been great all year. But Jonathan Drouin, you got to do something a little bit more than put it right at Jack Campbell's chest. And okay, yeah, he had the Leafs back checker kind of closing in on him a bit, but you got to put that somewhere else other than Jack Campbell's chest. And a little teaser here, by the way, I tweeted this out again at Mike Langer. Give me a follow at Mike Langer. But Cole Caulfield scores in that situation. That's how Cole Caulfield scored the overtime winner in against, I think it was Michigan in the or Minnesota in the semifinals of the Big Ten championship. That's how Cole Caulfield scored the overtime winner. Quick shot, 5-hole, buried it, and Jonathan Drouin just shot it right at Jack Campbell's chest. By the way, Jacob Bussy Banter, Leafs fan who I just did a show with yesterday. Check it out. Great game by Perry and Allen. I mean, yeah, look, they were money. They were the two best players on the Canadiens today. Another story in this game. Oh, by the way, the Habs, also credit to the Habs penalty kill efforts for surviving the Leafs power play, that 5-on-3 that the Leafs had when the Habs were just all over the place in the first period. The Habs just survived by a thread that 5-on-3 by the Leafs and yeah, so that's credit to the Habs penalty kill there. But and another story, though, was the fact that Jesperi Kotkaniemi was playing on the wing with Thomas Tatar and Philip Deneau. And in the first period, it was a little bit out of sync, like on that first goal by Austin Matthews, where he wrapped it around. Kotkaniemi was just not really in a place where he was able to support Deneau and Weber. Great forecheck by the Leafs on that play. But yeah, just Kotkaniemi, it was a little bit lost in the first period. But you know what? Then the Habs turned it up in the second period, and Kotkaniemi was like he was really, really good on that line with Deneau and Tatar from the wing position. But here's the other thing: Kotkaniemi also played some center. Kotkaniemi took some faceoffs, and I noticed even a couple of times Philip Deneau lined up on the to the right wing, and at this point, I honestly feel that Kotkaniemi is a better faceoff man right now with the way they're playing. Kotkaniemi is a better faceoff man than Philip Deneau, or at least more consistently this year, because Deneau has been disappointing in the faceoff circle. I'm talking purely on faceoffs here. Deneau has been disappointing this year on faceoffs compared to what he's been capable of in previous years. And I'm pulling it up right over here. Gotta just always look it up, just want to be sure. But yeah, like that's where the Habs just dominated in the second period, and that was largely because of that Deneau, Tatar, and Kotkaniemi line, who, by the way, now I have it right here. Kotkaniemi, 3 out of 6 on faceoffs, 15 minutes, 50 seconds of ice time for Kotkaniemi. So you're going to talk about Kotkaniemi and getting more ice time. Well, right now, with Gallagher out, it's on the wing with Deneau and Tatar. That's how Kotkaniemi can get more ice time, and he did. And he played really, really well, especially in the second period. And but here's, again, the issue with Jonathan Drouin. He has to be better in a game like this. When Corey Perry is the only guy supplying your offense, Josh Anderson gets banged up. Thankfully, comes back. Tatar, Kotkaniemi, Deneau, they're doing everything they can to get pucks to the net and shots on net. And even Toffoli was good. Like, Toffoli was the best player on that line with Stahl and Drouin. But you saw Drouin drive when he was playing with Suzuki and Anderson early in the year. You saw Drouin driving that line. But in this game, it was Toffoli was really the only noticeable player. Eric Stahl was okay. He had a couple of decent chances and he created a couple of decent plays. Eric Stahl did, but honestly, Eric Stahl, I got to give him a little more time, I'd say, just to kind of settle in as a Montreal Canadian right now. And he also was very good at faceoffs. Eric Stahl was, but you need to see more from Jonathan Drouin in this game. And yeah, it just sucks how the Habs, despite how well they play in the second period, they just didn't score. And then third period, the Leafs weren't going to be that bad for that long, and they came out strong. And Victor Mete played another decent hockey game tonight. Victor Mete has been pretty good, I'd say. He was bad. Like, he was really, really bad in a lot of times this season while he played. But in the last couple of games, he's been pretty good. He's been steady. He's been using his speed. He's been good positionally. He's been able to win battles despite his size. He's been able to join the rush effectively. But that was the first iffy play that he has made in a long time, where he just kind of kicked it to the middle of the ice. Like, I don't know if he was probably trying to just like receive it in his skate. And also it was Mete and Josh Anderson that lost their battle in the corner in that on that Brody goal there at the beginning of the second. And yeah, it it was and then Mete, I don't know if he was trying to receive the pass or trying to like control it, but you don't. I just feel like kicking it to the front of the net like that is not the best idea. And it was probably just a reflex, but still, first bad play by Mete in a wild lens right to TJ Brody's stick, and he buried it. I mean, first goal of the season, first goal as a Leaf from a defensive defenseman that TJ Brody is. But look, he buried it, and the Habs are still in the game at that point. They had a couple of decent shifts. They like, especially again, the Kotkaniemi, Tatar, and Dano line had a really good shift after that. But then the stall, I think it was Stahl and Toffoli and Drouin, like they got caught deep in the Leaf zone, which gave the 3-on-2 to Marner, Matthews, and Hyman. Right when you see that, it's like, they're even when the Leafs were at their worst last year, their go-to was their ability to score on the rush. And Hyman, Matthews, and Marner played that perfectly. They created 2-on-1s. They isolated Jeff Petrie, who had to kind of take, I think it was Matthews who was the one who took the shot, or Marner took the shot on net. And then Allen, or he made the pass in front to Hyman, who, again, Petrie was just stuck in no man's line, and Hyman had a really nice finish there. But yeah, perfectly executed 3-on-2 by the Leafs there. And that was, at that point, the Habs were pretty much out of the game. Until Corey Perry scored with just about 2 minutes left in the third period there. But here's another concern, though, for the Montreal Canadiens is it's their power play. Their power play was, again, okay at the beginning of the season. I mean, mostly because they scored a lot of goals early in the season, then it really tapered off. And that's when Claude Julien and Kirk Muller got fired. But then Dominic Ducharme, Alex Burrows come in. The power play is almost at 30% since they took over. But now the power play has one goal since the COVID break. And that was off the rush where Suzuki kind of flicked it to Toffoli, and Toffoli one time did a really nice goal against the Ottawa Senators last Saturday. But it's not good right now. And in a game like this, where it's a tight hockey game, you only get 2 chances on the power play, and you have to at least get a couple of good looks because the Habs couldn't even get set up. Even that Perry, Kotkaniemi, Gallagher, and Tatar and Petrie wave, they couldn't even get set up in the zone. Like, they did absolutely nothing on the power play, and that's not good. I know someone who can fix the power play, though, which we'll get to in a little bit. But yeah, let's talk about just a couple of other things. We'll talk about what I really liked in this hockey game from the Montreal Canadiens. Like I said, Toffoli played really, really well in this one. He was just doing usual Tyler Toffoli things, 3 shots on goal, 3 hits, 60 minutes of ice time. He was the best player on that line with Stahl and Jonathan Drouin, because Drouin, again, invisible. Stahl was okay, good in faceoffs, big, made a couple of plays, but not much other than that. Paul Byron. Okay, so I want to put some love on Paul Byron's name in this one. We all don't love Paul Byron because he has that big contract and he's not producing compared to what that contract, that $3.5 million contract demands that he produced. But he played really, really well in this game defensively, at least. And he was only 10 minutes of ice time, but every time he was on the ice, he was just in the right position, right place, right time. Kind of like he was in overtime against McDavid and Draisaitl and Darnell Nurse against the Oilers on Monday. Paul Byron, same thing on Matthews, Marner. Whenever he was on the ice, he was playing very well defensively. That's what I noticed. And also, like I said, Kotkaniemi, great game, playing on the wing. Rough start, but figure it out by the second period. 15 and a half minutes of ice time, or 15 minutes, 50 seconds of ice time. A couple of good shots on net. Just the only thing now with Kotkaniemi is his shooting. He's getting pucks to the net, although he did miss a wide open net in the third period. But now it's a matter of, again, just not shooting it right at the goalie's chest. But at least Kotkaniemi played a lot, and he played really, really well on the wing in the second and third period. Jake Allen, of course, Jake Allen was unreal in this game. Not the most ideal goal that he gave up to Austin Matthews early, but after that, and then he made a really nice save on Galchenyuk, of all people. Robbed Galchenyuk while he was sitting down. He was a little bit off early in the first period, but Jake Allen really, really settled down as the game went along, made a couple of really big saves on 2-on-1s in the second period. You talk about the Habs outshooting the Leafs 17-4. Well, the Leafs, I'd say 2 or 3 out of those 4 shots were quality scoring chances. And Allen was big on the Bogosian chance. He also robbed John Tavares a couple of times in the third period. He also stopped Matthews and Marner a couple of times in the third period as well. It wasn't pretty for Jake Allen tonight, but he got the job done, stopped the puck. And again, with Carey Price being hurt right now, that is absolutely key and a luxury that the Habs haven't had until this year. I don't know if Jake Allen's going to be someone that's going to be good under a big workload. Like, I don't know if Jake Allen should play every single game. We might see Caden Primo or Charlie Lindgren at some point if Carey Price is going to be out for more games than we expect. It's like tomorrow night against Winnipeg, does Jake Allen get the back-to-back? I don't know. I would go with Jake Allen in the back-to-back situation, but it also kind of depends on when you're going to get Carey Price back. Because if you're going to get Carey Price back for Saturday or by next week, sure. But if not, kind of want to rest Jake Allen a little bit, not give him too heavy of a workload. And another thing, faceoffs. So the Habs were dominating the faceoff circle in the first period, but then they finished the game at 55% in the faceoff circle. A lot of that to do with Eric Staal. Philip Deneau was 8 for 15 on faceoffs. So again, decent, but we've seen Philip Deneau consistently better in the past, I find, at least. Jake Evans was 3 for 5. Eric Staal, I'll get to Eric Staal in a sec. Nick Suzuki was 6 for 13, which is pretty good for Nick Suzuki standards. It's under 50%, but good for his standards either way. And Eric Staal, man, he's been just an absolute beast on the faceoff so far. 8 for 12 tonight on the in the faceoff circle. So that was a good thing for the Habs. And yeah, like honestly, now I'm going to start talking about Cole Caulfield. A writing piece I'm working on right now is why the time is now for Cole Caulfield to get the call up to the Montreal Canadiens. I know it's logistically challenging for him to go from Wisconsin to then quarantining for 7 days to then getting, quarantining for 7 days and then having to go from Laval and then potentially if he gets called up to the Habs to Montreal. So he's going from the States to quarantine to Laval to the Habs all in a span of a week and a half. And that's tough for a young player, sure. But like I said, it's getting to the point where Cole Caulfield has something that is severely lacking on the Canadiens right now. But his one-timer, his ability to shoot the puck, he doesn't require a lot of time and space. And when you're on the power play, you don't, like when there is time and space, that's where Cole Caulfield can go to work on this Montreal Canadiens team, even as a 20-year-old, even if he's undersized, even if he has to develop more. Right now, his raw shooting ability is something that you can just insert. I'm convinced you could insert in the Montreal Canadiens lineup right now, and there is a use for it. And he makes a difference in a game like this. Because like I said, if he's in Jonathan Drouin's position at the end of the second period there, that puck's going in the net. That puck's not going at Jack Campbell's chest. That puck's going in the net. And he's expected to make his debut against the Marlies in Toronto on Friday, oddly enough. But right now, if Gallagher hurt and he's on LTIR with his $3.5 million cap hit, so that creates cap space. But sure, the Habs could still use the puck moving defenseman. But to me, why give up resources? Like you're talking about trying to acquire Taylor Hall. No, don't acquire Taylor Hall. Don't acquire a forward. I would not acquire a forward if I'm the Montreal Canadiens. I would give Cole Caulfield the chance right now with Gallagher out. Give him that stint with the big club. Give him a couple of games with the Montreal Canadiens. Again, it's a lot for him to handle, sure, but now's the time for Cole Caulfield to get a chance with the Montreal Canadiens, at least this year until the playoffs. So because of what his ability to shoot the puck and what he brings that the Habs, again, are solely missing outside of Tyler Toffoli and Corey Perry. But again, now with the Leafs, it's like the fourth time out of 5 where the Leafs beat the Habs this year. And like I said on our show with Bussy Banter, Jacob Bussy, once again, subscribe to his channel at Jacob Bussy on YouTube. The Habs, every year, the Habs and Leafs have alternated back and forth between the Leafs having the Habs number and the Habs having the Leafs number, back and forth, back and forth. Seems to be that the Leafs have the Habs number this year, but with the fact that they're going to play 10 games and potentially a playoff series against each other, like they're not going to win. I don't think they're going to win every single game, the Leafs against the Habs. So the Habs are bound to get one against the Leafs at some point, even if they don't in the regular season. Playoffs are a whole different ball game. Playoffs are a whole different animal, and who knows? Hopefully the Habs have Gallagher back by then. Hopefully they have Ben Sherratt. Hopefully they don't lose Josh Anderson to injury by then with how he plays and how he's been banged up a couple of times. By the way, feedback for you today in the comment section says Perry does seem to be a gritty player that puts forward effort, will come in through pressure. Important addition to team was Drouin, a good trade. Galley injured. So to me, Drouin has been really, really good all season. He's been playing a good all-around game, but he's been missing the goal scoring all year. And we all know that. He has 2 goals, 20 whatever assists that he has. And in a game like this is where you need Drouin to step up and score on that breakaway. And in terms of the Sergachev trade, I know you're referring to the Sergachev trade. Honestly, like I wouldn't say there's a clear winner in this trade yet. You can, like 2 years ago when Drouin was struggling at center and Sergachev was a regular on the or he's still a regular on the Tampa Bay Lightning, but he's playing really well at the Tampa Bay Lightning and then beat up Shea Weber in that fight a couple of years ago. You can say, yeah, Tampa won that trade easily, but with Drouin the way he's been playing this year overall, like he's kind of pushed it back a little bit, but in a game like this, again, you need more from Jonathan Drouin. And let's just hope that, I don't know if you're going to see his shooting be better this year because of his wrist, but let's hope that his wrist does recover at least for next year, at least in the future. But then again, the fact that after multiple COVID breaks between the end of the 2020 season or the winter portion of the 2020 season, then to the bubble, and then between the bubble to the 2021 season, the fact that there has been time off for Drouin to recover, and if that same injury hasn't fully recovered yet, that is a little bit of concern. That is a little concerning to me. But yeah, that's what's missing from Drouin's game right now, and I wouldn't say there's a clear winner yet from that Drouin Sergachev trade. I wouldn't say there's a clear winner yet, but yeah, all this to say is that the more the Leafs win, the better that Matthews plays, the better Jack Campbell plays, the more expectation that there will be going into the playoffs, and that will make it that much more fun when they lose in the first round. By the way, feedback for you today. Again, the comment section saying Toffoli has been good, but seemed to need a bit more scoring. Don't know why the Leafs beat them. Well, like I said, the Leafs beat them today because when the Leafs were good, when the Leafs were at their best, like in every hockey game, there's ebbs and flows in a hockey game, especially when you're playing a team like the Leafs. So if you're going to get them on their heels, you got to score more than 0 goals in that period where you have them on their heels. So when the Leafs had their good periods, they scored. When the Habs had their one really, really dominant period, they didn't score. And that's how the Leafs won today. So yeah, so that's pretty much all we got here. On to Winnipeg tomorrow. Again, I would like to say Jake Allen plays the second game out of the back-to-back, but we got to also be careful if Price is going to be missing more than 2 or 3 games. You got to also start considering limiting Jake Allen's workload as well. But that's all we have here on this Habs-Leafs Langer at the Mic post-game show. As usual, if you enjoy my commentary, give me a big thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to my channel here. Give me a follow at Mike Langer on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And this has been a Montreal Canadiens Toronto Maple Leafs post-game show here on Langer at the Mic. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again next time.